तशरीफ लाते हैं सोहेल इसाक।
Tell us about you. Were you born in Boise, Idaho, or?
I was born in Long Beach, California, and we moved up here to Boise when I was 5 years old. I'm not going to date myself, but
No,
Boise
I'm not
was a
gonna
lot
ask you that.
smaller when we moved here.
Okay.
A huge amount of growth and change,
That's
for sure. Yeah, but I would consider myself an Idahoan, be it that most of my life I have lived here.
You love Boise, Idaho, or you have any plan to, since you are a very professional belly dancer, so you have any plans to move out someday to a big city or another country like places like Dubai?
I absolutely love Boise. I love Idaho. And I've really created a community here, and I have a professional dance company and have relationships with people in the community that have gone back a very long time. So I think I'll probably continue to be here and give back to my community and help foster the artist here in Boise and the audience members here. So sometimes I think about moving to Mexico when and not soon. I'm not retiring soon, but at some point I'll have to retire. And I think about going to Mexico to retire because I've been an artist my whole life. I need to find somewhere where my money goes further, maybe.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. So why Mexico?
Because it's less expensive to retire there than it is here in the States.
So wait, have you ever been to Mexico?
I haven't been to Mexico. No, I definitely have relatives from Mexico, but I have not been to Mexico. Yeah.
So how long you been doing the belly dancing?
So I have been doing belly dancing for over 25 years now.
So what brought you into belly dancing? It was just a coincidence, or you decided that you'll be good for it?
I was a dancer before, the whole
And
time
what
growing
kind of
up.
dancer was that?
Mostly ballet, but also what is now called lyrical and what was then called modern. I did ballet, modern, I did some tap, the basic traditional kind of dances.
That was all in Boise?
Yes, it was. Yeah. Well, I actually started dancing in California and then continued most of it here in Boise because I've been dancing since I was really young. And sort of an interesting story. I always had dance in my heart. I actually, I was raised Catholic, and there's part of the Catholic Mass where they play music, and the people who have been through, who are older, will go up and do communion. And my parents told me I can't dance during church, but one day I was so inspired that I danced in church, and then I ended up getting spanked for that.
And then then you were stamped to be a dancer.
I was just punished, and I got in trouble for it. I have actually danced in churches as an adult. I have danced, been invited to dance in churches and synagogues. So, so that's pretty cool healing. But I was born with my feet and my legs turned in pretty severely. I don't know the actual medical terminology for it, but so they tried things like they put me in casts when I was an infant and braces, and nothing was really working. So part of why my parents put me into dance classes, along with the fact that I really wanted to dance, was to help get my feet to turn out, because ballet, you have this severe turnout, and my feet were turned in, and so as I grew and continued to train in ballet, it helped correct that. So it was kind of like a medical correction. But I continued to dance very seriously the entire time growing up. And then when I discovered belly dance,
Okay.
I wanted to find a dance form that I could do my whole life. And ballet is something that your career is pretty over quite young, like in your early
Yes.
20s. So I was looking for that, and I had also had pretty extensive abdominal surgeries.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted something that would help heal me. So again, I was looking for something that would have medical benefits along with me being able to dance. And
Satisfaction.
yes, and then I learned that as I started learning more about the dance, it's so emotional, it's so personal, it's so individual, and it's instead of being like always like in a group, with
Yeah.
you're trying to look like somebody or something, you can just be who you are.
Yes.
And express that. And
Ah.
and once I understood that, I was hooked, and I have been doing it ever since. As it's been my full-time employment for the last 15 years, and for about the first 10 years it was my part-time employment.
So what was your first place or institute or where you started first step in belly dancing?
Okay.
You stepped into belly dancing.
Yeah, that's a good question too. So I lived across the street from the community education building. So I went in to ask them because I heard that there was somebody teaching belly dance classes, and nobody was. And because I knew them and I was their neighbor, I talked them into giving me the phone number of a woman that did. And I called her up, and she wasn't teaching all summer. And I am not a patient person, so I wanted to start right then. I didn't want to wait.
Okay.
And I talked her into teaching me a private lesson. So I showed up at her house, and she answered the door, just this beautiful, soft-spoken woman. Her little redheaded daughter was at her knees, and she invited me into her house and taught me my first lesson. And she has snakes because she dances with snakes.
Whoa.
And I'm really scared of snakes, and they weren't even caged. They were just like in her house.
They were
I remember
pets,
that. Like, I spent part of the time learning how to belly dance, and the other part of the time just keeping my eye on those snakes because I'm a little less scared now. Not much. So
What
so
type?
that
Big
was my
snakes,
very
small size,
there was a
rattlesnakes.
I believe it was a boa, and it was an albino. So she has red hair, so it matched her. The snake was like her matching, and it wasn't that big at the time, but that snake has gotten very big since then. She still dances with it, but it's a big snake now. So that was my introduction, and she's a very just beautiful dancer. Her name's Ileana. She's been dancing around Boise for a long time, and so she kind of helped me fall in love with it too, because she's just so lovely. And we've stayed friends and close the entire
Is she still
time.
living in here?
Yeah, she is, and
that's
she's still
neat.
dancing. Not
Very
professionally anymore, but she's still dancing. And then I continued my studies, which I traveled quite a bit to learn. I haven't traveled out of the country.
Oh, where was that?
I haven't traveled out of the country.
haven't.
I've traveled around the country quite a
okay.
bit. But American dancers are very technical. They're very disciplined. They're really into their training. So there's some amazing belly dance or Raqs Sharqi artists in America to learn from.
I totally believe on that. I
we
watch
get-
belly dances, and I see the Indian dances and other dances. So I always tell my wife also, belly dance is supposed to be from the Middle East, Egypt and Lebanon and Turkey, but I have seen the perfection of it in here in the United States, and the girls from here. So it's really amazing to me. Yeah. And
Thank you for that compliment, too.
Then I started noticing even the Indian Bollywood dances, and those girls, the one who dance like extras in the back, and their moves are so smooth and perfect, because I have little bit idea of Indian style dancing, not myself, but I know a little bit about it.
Right.
It's a Kathak and all. They move so smooth, and a lot of those girls are from United States. All right, so how long it took you to learn the belly dancing?
Well, I started performing at least a semi-professional level about year and a half, 2 years after I started taking belly dance lessons, because I was already a professional dancer. Like I said, I'm not very patient. So once I decided I wanted to do it, I really started training very hard and really going at the education of that.
So what was that point where you started thinking that you can do it and you are a professional?
So it can be a little tricky. The industry of being a professional belly dancer is challenging in itself. But
Okay.
this was in Boise, and so we're looking like 20 years ago. So it was quite different here.
So challenges were different too?
Yeah, I mean,
Because of the size of the city and the
Absolutely.
nature of...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have spent not as much anymore, but I have spent an incredible amount of time and energy educating people and my audiences in a nice, not condescending way, that I am not a stripper or a sex worker, those things. Like,
Yes, yes,
there's a
yes.
lot of misconceptions about that, that it
Yes.
is family entertainment and that it's from another culture. And a lot of ways that I've been able to do that is to express it through the music. The music is so meaningful.
Yeah.
And then the dance is representing this just amazing, layered, sincere, deep, incredible music. The music is just incredible. Just a few of those classic songs are just, I don't know. They could be it. They could be the only 3 songs in the world, and it would be okay because they're so amazing. So I've spent quite a bit of time educating my audience
Okay.
of what belly dance is, and of course what it isn't.
So are you satisfied? They're okay now, or there's still places where you feel that they have some negative feeling or attitude? Yeah.
I think it's an ongoing education. I do feel really strong. So I'm at the place in my career that I mentor up-and-coming dancers to be professional belly dance artists. And I'm able to mentor them on how to continue to go forward and educate. It's good because it makes it easier for them and for me that we're presenting ourselves as professionals. Our costumes, our demeanor, the way that we work with people, the way we are with our audience, all that is obviously at a very high level of artistry. I feel very blessed that I'm able to do this.
So when you started doing that, like when you had enough confidence that now you are a professional and you can bring in some other girls into it. So when was that? How long you've been training other girls?
About 10 years ago. It was about 10 years ago. So I was dancing professionally and learned
So
the
you
hard
have your
way.
own institute, your own place of dance? Like, do you have a facility where you train the girls, other girls?
I do. I have a full-time dance school.
Oh,
And I
okay.
take people from very introductory belly dance to teach them what it's about, all the way up to mentoring the professional dancers. So it's a full-time school. Like, we have 20 hours of classes a week and a full curriculum.
So how many girls, naturally 99.9% is girls who do the belly dancing, at least in Idaho. So how many girls in the last 10 years are trained by you or learned through your institute dance club?
I should know that number. I should know that number. I would say as far as
it can be approximate.
For to train to be professional dancers, like at a high level, I would say between 10 and 12.
Oh, that's
Some
good.
of them have moved away to bigger cities and are working on their career there. One of them in particular, decided to start her family and has had a couple little girls and is not dancing right now because she's at that place with her family needing her. I had one dancer who took a break, about a 4-year break from dancing. She was dancing at a professional level, and then she decided to go back to graduate school and get her teacher's certificate. Now she's teaching high school science at high school. So, and now she's come back. So there's reasons why maybe you don't see all these professional dancers, but they have definitely been trained how to be professional in all their ways of being a dancer, which starts how they get to a performance, how they, you know, I'm pretty uptight about safety, so we always go in numbers. There's at least 2 dancers that go together. We don't walk to or from our car alone. How we present ourselves to our audience starts not just when we're actually performing. So what ended up kind of interesting part of my career is I used to be a filmmaker and really helped kind of build a filmmaking community here in Boise, which I'm happy because it's been flourishing, which is really exciting in a nice little town like Boise. So I made a documentary about American ballet dancers. And I got footage from and did interviews with dancers mostly across the Northwest. And I funded it myself by because I also make and design belly dance costumes. So I make all the costumes for my company, my students. So I sold some costumes to fund a documentary about belly dancers in America and what it means to American women and their experiences. And once I finished the documentary, it premiered here in 2008, actually, at the Idaho International Film Festival. And I toured it all over the United States. I worked with different belly dance artists in different cities. And I believe I toured it in between 35 and 40 places across the United States.
Wow.
That documentary
Beautiful.
has actually been screened in about 5 other countries, and DVDs have been sold all across the globe. I sent a DVD to New Zealand. Like, they sell all over the place. So this is a really exciting time. So when I went on tour and I taught workshops and performed, so I've performed across the United States. I have yet to get my passport. If I would just get my passport, maybe I'd get out of the country at some point. But this is a very big country. There's a lot of states here. So I've been a performer and a workshop instructor and a featured performer across the country. But when I did go on tour, which was a pretty extensive, about 1.5 years of traveling, I talked to a lot of the other professional dancers in these different cities, these different demographics, and really got a good idea of how to mentor up-and-coming dancers in my demographic, but also so that when they did move on to other places, they would be prepared to have a really substantial career as belly dance artists. So that's kind of what launched, and then I started doing the mentorship program that I do.
So what was the idea behind? Any other girl, other professional ballet dancer was doing that, or it's something some incident made you to go and do all this filming and make a documentary and talk to the people and change the people's mind?
Yeah, well, I am really deeply grateful for what belly dance has done for me in my life. Personally, spiritually, emotionally. It's been able to give me a platform to be an artist, to be a dance artist for a long time, for my life. It also has helped me heal from, I have a really extensive scar on my belly, of all places, to be a belly dancer. And that has really helped me be okay with that scar. I know that it has moved people. It has been sanctuary for people. It has really been this huge important thing in people's life, for the people that do it, even just the hobbyists and the students, what that has done for them. I had a student who had a very, very horrible childhood, very abusive childhood, had spent most of her adult life institutionalized. She was out of the institution, and she had a daughter, and she came to dance with me. Her daughter came to dance with me. They ended up dancing together. A lot of the folkloric dances, like the depka, and like Kaliji, these really fun celebratory dances, and that was such an important time in her life. And it's really emotional for me, but we ended up losing her. She passed away.
Sorry.
A lot of the dancers who had been with her in those classes came to her funeral, and could just tell how important that time was with her and her daughter. Like, that was a very wonderful thing that it gave to them. And I think belly dance gives people a lot of different gifts. I think women have watched me dance and have said to themselves, well, I couldn't do that because because I have a scar, because I have this or that, and then they look at me and go, oh, I could do that. And then they get to celebrate their own beauty. They get to really enjoy and celebrate who they are through the dance. Then they wouldn't maybe have that opportunity if it wouldn't have been there for them. And so I'm really impassioned about sharing this, and I really want to empower women and men, because I have male students and I have a male performer, and I have seen that change their life in a really big way too. So it's become my life's work to share this art form, and to have a respect in the art form for the culture it comes from. That is very important to me, the way I teach it, the way I educate. It's not just like, these are the moves, these are the costumes, play around. It's like, where did this originate from? What is the background and the history of the music?
Where does it originate?
Well, it certainly, originates in the Middle East.
So,
But
because
in saying that, there's a whole bunch of different.
yes, that's
right?
why I
It's not
asked
one
you this
culture,
question.
right? That has
Because
this dance form.
Lebanese, they
Absolutely.
claim that they're the one.
Right.
Turkish, yes.
Right.
Egyptians,
Absolutely,
yes. These are
yep.
the 2-3 countries which claim that belly dancing started from there. So, what do you think?
Well, I'm a little scared to say I'm not going to say where it started, because I don't want anybody mad at me. I mean, where I think it started from is probably going back to like the Ghazi dancers in Egypt. I think because they, they roamed around. Like, I think the Romani cultures actually shared a lot of music and dance back before we traveled a lot. It was the traveling, the Rom people that shared a lot of that. So I think regardless of where it originated, they all have their own styles of Raqs Sharqi that are valid and important and beautiful. I mean, I tell my beginning students this. I said, if somebody came to America and said, I want to learn American dance, we'd be like, well, there's a bunch of different kinds of dances we do in America. It's the same with belly dance. It's the same with Raqs Sharqi. If you wanted to go learn belly dance, well, what kind? Because there's different styles and different musics, different regions that have come up with their own dance that is kind of blended together in what we call belly dance. But my one of my wonderful dancers, Tori, she really loves Saidi and Raqs Sasaya, which is from Upper Egypt. Loves, and that's a specific style. Chad, who's one of my male dancers, it's great when he leads the depka, because that's because he's strong and big and can get everybody to lead the line on that. He really has a high appreciation for that. And there's all kinds of also like American fusion belly dance styles that have come up, because now Raqs Sharqi or belly dance, whatever term you want to use for it, it's a global dance form.
Yeah.
It's a recognized global dance form. So and it's everywhere. It's everywhere in the world, which is just beautiful and amazing. So I really wanted to mentor dancers to come up, to be educated in these things, and to perform belly dance at that high artistic level, and to be performing for the community, to be educating audiences of all different sizes, big audiences, little audiences, birthday parties, restaurants, of course, one of our favorites, big theatrical shows, all the above. It's important to share this with our community that Boise has. I want Boise to be known for their belly dance artists, and we are. We are known for that. That we have some of the most amazing belly dancers in the country.
Yeah, and one of you is sitting right across from me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So let's talk about the male belly dancers. How many of you you have trained so far?
Well, one professional, and
that's nice.
About 5 or 6 other men over the last few years. Not to be professionals, but as students, and they're hobbyists. So, yeah.
So your professional male dancer is performing in Boise, or
he is. He's been performing in Boise for the last about 7 or 8 years.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and he's quite popular. He's so. the assisted living facilities that we do a lot of, women outlive men. I don't know if you know that, but we tend to get, so it's mostly women in those places a lot of times, and they absolutely, they love the male dancer. And a lot of people do. It's so wonderful to see men dancing. That is something in particular about this Western culture in America, is that men don't dance. But as you know, in a lot of the countries in the Middle East, of course men dance. You know, all the Latin countries, of course men dance. Men, everybody dances. You know, the women, the children, the grandmas, the grandpas. It's what we do to celebrate. Yeah. I think that's why it fits very well to have male belly dancers. Now, having it be a stage performance is a little bit of an American additive to that, or addition to that. There used to only be a few professional male belly dancers. And very few students, male students, and I've seen a huge increase in that in the last about 5 years.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see that.
So do you think, like, you know, we know that the belly dancers, the female belly dancers, had a lot of difficult time. In fact, I know a couple of incidents when people who came into my business, and we had belly dancers in here, and they said they're not going to come back. Yeah. So how about that male dancers? Do they have that kind of issues that people don't like them to do that? Or
what issues we've had a little bit is that people think it's a joke. Again, men don't dance in America very often, okay. So they'll think it's maybe something funny. But of course, they watch him dance. He's a really good dancer. So then they realize it's, you know, he gets less of that for sure. Women, like, I always train my dancers, and I do personally, like, when I'm dancing, especially in a restaurant where I'm close and personal, and that's a really cool thing about belly dance. It's really interactive. People get up and dance with me, like I'm talking to them. It's not like I'm on a stage way far away and you got to be quiet. Like, it's very interactive and celebratory. And so I always make extra care to pay almost all my attention to the women and the children. Hopefully, if there's children, that's even better. But I make sure that I connect with the woman with my eyes and with my body language and with my presence, that I am not a threat to her, that I'm really dancing for her. And except for a few wonderful men like you who just love the dance, I think women love the dance more than the men do.
Yes.
Because who else appreciates this amazing amount of glitter and pretty and color? I mean, women love that. Women and drag queens, I would say, are my top fans.
I have seen the little girls, like when there are people in here, so I noticed that the little girls, like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, they move a lot faster than, and I have not seen a single little boy coming out and started dancing with the belly dancers. But the girls, yes. Even my own niece's daughters and all my friends' daughters. And it's not that I've been noticing it right from my other location, that little girls will come out. I have some videos that they come out and they start dancing with the belly dance.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, you're very right. But so, I mean, you're doing really a great job. And you're here because you are one of the best we have ever seen. And we have seen a lot of that.
Thank you so much.
I've been to Egypt, I've been to Lebanon, Dubai, and a lot of other Middle Eastern countries, and I am totally satisfied with you and your students, and you're doing a great job.
Thank you so much.
Places like Boise, yes. That's why at the beginning I asked you a question that, are you gone or you're planning to one of these days go somewhere and we're going to lose one of the best ballet dancers?
Thank you so much. I don't plan to go anywhere because I love living here.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But some of my other dancers might end up going. And
then you'll groom some of the little ones.
Right.
And they
just
come
keep
and
them
they
up.
keep on going. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
I really, really appreciate your time today. But one of the reason you're sitting in here with us is that I would personally like other people, the one who are interested, and male and female, to come and learn from you, take advantage of your expertise. If they like to come and dance with you or join your club, dancing clubs, would you like to say how they can come and join you?
Absolutely. So Starbelly School of Dance is my dance school. Pretty easy to find if you want to Google that. Also, you can contact me through there as far as having any of our professional performers perform at your family celebrations or any other kind of events. We do a lot of fundraisers to help fundraise in the community also. We're very community-minded here in the Treasure Valley in Boise, Idaho. And we accept all genders of students. We do have a male instructor. I'm the master instructor there, so I teach most of the classes. And pretty much everything 13 age and up, but we also do have some family classes periodically. So we're here for you.
Will you be able to give a little performance?
I'd be happy to. I would be happy to. And something to look for with belly dance, just to put in context.
Yeah.
The music being the king of it all, is very layered. It's got a lot. It's very layered, and there's a lot of different drum beats. There's a lot of percussion. There's a lot of melodic instruments on top. And if you're lucky, you have some beautiful vocals. So the belly dancer, the Raqs Sharqi dancer, is trying to take that music and represent it through movement. So a lot of times the hips, the staccato hip movements that you see and the shimmies is going to represent the drums or the percussion. The arms and the chest are going to represent the melodic line. And then as far as the lyrics, you're going to see that represented just with the emotion that's emoted through the dance.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful explanation. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.